This is Celeste. I'm a professional intuitive medium, intuitive life coach, and intuitive coach. And I'm here to talk to you today a little bit about the thought patterns that really mess you up in life and keep you from achieving your goals and your dreams. And the first one is being your own worst critic. So being too harsh on yourself, the self-deprecating humor. Oh, look at me, I'm such an idiot, I forgot my keys again. Dwelling on your failures, downplaying your achievements, are all examples of being your own worst critic. There's putting a negative slant on things. So say going to a really fun event and only noticing that you got stuck in a traffic jam on the way there. So seeing the glass is half empty instead of the glass is half full. Having a gloomy perspective of the future. So feeling like things can't get any better, that they'll always be this bad, or they'll actually end up getting worse. There's jumping to the worst possible conclusion or catastrophizing. So this would be, say, for example, if your boss calls you into their office and says, oh, hey, can I talk to you for a second? The automatic thought is, oh my God, I'm going to be fired, or I'm going to be in trouble for whatever. So that's jumping to the worst possible conclusion. Having a negative view of how others see you, or mind reading. So say going into a party thinking no one will want to talk to you because you're so boring, or somebody's having a bad day and maybe is a little curt with you, so that you think your assumption is they don't like you. So that's some of those mind reading thoughts that can be very detrimental to our positive view on the world. Unfairly taking responsibility for things that aren't your fault. So the classic example is, oh, the rain today is my fault, I washed the car. So that's an example of that. Or some of the extreme statements or rules. So say if you misplace your keys, saying, oh, look at me, I'm always forgetting my keys or losing my keys. I can never find my keys. Or something bad happens and you get a flat tire. Well, isn't that just typical? This always happens to me. The shoulds, the oughts, the musts. Oh, I must lose weight if I'm ever going to get a date. Or I should buy nicer clothes if I'm ever going to get that job. And some of those extreme rules that make us feel like we're not worthy or not good enough. And so I've done so much work with people on these thought processes, and I've done a lot of work myself on some of these thought processes. And where I really see the magic and change happen for people is in starting to shift some of these negative thinking patterns. And because at the end of the day, how we think affects our emotions. So even if you're jumping to that worst possible conclusion, my boss is calling me into the office because I'm getting fired, you're going to start to feel fearful, depressed, hopeless, anxious, all those things that go along with that, right? So that's going to affect your emotions, and that's going to affect how you even behave. So you're going to go into the boss's office maybe feeling anxious and distracted, and it's going to affect your behavior. And you can really start to see this on grander scales. So if you're chronically like this, you might start to become avoidant of social interactions. For example, if you're getting into a lot of those mind reading things where you think people don't like you or they think bad things about you, you might start becoming avoidant of social situations, and you might miss out on making some really great friendships and having some really great experiences. So those thought patterns and the emotions that go along with it really start to affect our behaviors. And that could even be if you're trying to make a shift in your career goals, you're gonna not want to make those, you're gonna avoid those phone calls to prospective clients or prospective partners, because you automatically assume that before you even talk to them, they're not going to like you, or they're going to think, I'm not qualified, I'm not good enough, you're asking too much money. So you're not going to make that call in the first place. And that's going to limit your career goals. And I can tell you from my own personal experience in utilizing some of these strategies and seeing seeing the results of people I've worked with and clients that I've worked with, this is where the magic and miracles happen, is in starting to shift some of these thought processes. And it's a lot of really difficult work, because a lot of times these thought processes have been learned and ingrained into us since we were itty bitty, since we were knee high to a grasshopper. So, and there's even an evolutionary reason why we think this way that I won't get into. But it was basically, these thinking patterns were basically a safeguard, back in, 600 years ago, when predators and survival were very real things. So we needed to look for the negative in any situation to protect ourselves from predators and things like that. But I'll digress. I won't get too much into that. So there are very legitimate reasons and very legitimate causes for these thinking patterns, but we don't want to set up camp there. And the people that I work with, a lot of times people come from backgrounds, most of us have struggled throughout our lives. A lot of us have had both negative and positive circumstances, negative and positive events. And the people that I really see struggling and suffering and staying there, that's one camp of people. Then there's another camp of people that have maybe had some similar experience, and sometimes maybe an even worse experience, that are going out into life, taking life by the horns, and really just living a happy, successful, wonderful life, and you're wondering how they did it. And there's really only one simple strategy that all these people have in common, and that is focusing on their thoughts on a daily basis and working on making the changes that they need to make, so that their thoughts cause their emotions, cause their behaviors, causes the outcome. The outcome that you want is living in your goals and dreams. And the people that I've worked with and utilize these strategies have been the ones that have really taken this strategy for everything it's worth, like just lived in this and owned it. And that's the only real difference. But I think we're kind of caught up in this cultural thing of all these self-help books and reading books and audiobooks and watching Tony Robbins and all these different things, and they're all really great and really inspiring, but at the end of the day, you can't just read and watch those things and listen to those things and think it's just a magic wand that's being waved to change your life. You have to really focus on, how can I actually make the changes that they're talking about to live in my dreams? So this is what I teach people on a daily basis. And the people that I have seen take these strategies and really utilize them are the ones that are living in their dreams and goals and living up to their full potential and being happy in life. So if you're interested in learning some of the strategies to get from point A to point B, I'm going to put the information on my Intuitive Life Coaching Program into the caption. So go to the link, apply for my life coaching program. We'll talk about, we'll work on an individualized program. We'll start to identify your goals. We'll start to look at your underlying thinking patterns, how to change them, and how to really move you forward into living your goals and your dreams. We'll talk about setting boundaries. We'll talk about more effective communication, improving relationships, and really planning for the future so that you can take these tools and these strategies to live your best life. So the information's below. Make sure you click on the information. We'll talk and we'll get you going on your individualized life coaching program. Thanks for tuning in.